Hey there, I'm going to hit you with 33 tips and tricks to crush the Multi-State Professional Responsibility Exam, or MPRE. The MPRE is normally one of the hoops you have to hop before becoming a licensed attorney. It's a 60-question, 2-hour, multiple-choice test on professional responsibility and ethics. Only 50 questions are graded, but you won't know which 10 won't count. You can take the MPRE in March, August, or November. Like the Uniform Bar Exam, or UBE, the National Conference of Bar Examiners, or NCBE, makes the MPRE. Now, your 33 tips to crush the MPRE. Tip number 1, study. Now there's an idea. Even though the MPRE is easier than the bar exam, about 1 in 4 test takers fails. Tip number 2, take a professional responsibility class before the MPRE. The class probably won't fully prepare you, but it should provide a solid start. Tip number 3, see where you're at. Once you've taken a professional responsibility class, take a practice exam before you start studying for the MPRE in earnest. That way you can properly prioritize your studies. Tip number 4, once you know where you're at, focus on mastering the rules you don't know before trudging through more practice questions. Tip number 5, study the right topics and subtopics. By the way, the NCBE lists the basic topics and subtopics covered, and the rough exam emphasis. Also, Crescendo's MPRE outline closely mirrors that list. Tip number 6, know the key terms. The NCBE also lists and defines many of the key words and phrases covered. Use that list. Tip number 7, create a study plan or calendar and follow it. Tip number 8, regularly review. Unless you have a near photographic memory, once or twice through just won't do. Tip number 9, use memory hooks. By the way, Crescendo's MPRE outline comes loaded with memorable mnemonics. Tip number 10, write out the rules that are hardest for you to understand or memorize. Putting things in your own words is very memorable. Tip number 11, use flashcards or have somebody quiz you. By the way, Crescendo offers visual and audio flashcards for the MPRE. Pretty nifty. Tip number 12, review before bed. Studies suggest studying before you sleep gives you more bang for your buck. Tip number 13, 2 words, audio outlines. You can record your own or use Crescendo's. Audio outlines are a liberating way to get the repetition you need. Tip number 14, chunk it up. Study one topic at a time, one subtopic at a time. Studying for the MPRE is like building with Lego bricks. You don't half-assemble a castle, and then half-assemble a knight, and then half-assemble a dragon. You build in chunks, so things don't get too messy and confusing. You should study that way too. Tip number 15, use reliable practice questions, preferably the NCBE's own. By the way, Crescendo has a licensing agreement with the NCBE to use all its practice questions, so you can buy them directly from the NCBE, or you can buy them for less through Crescendo. Nice. Tip number 16, dissect your mistakes. When you miss a question, figure out why. Tip number 17, sub 120. You only have 120 seconds per question. Practice a little faster than that. Tip number 18, read the last sentence of each prompt first, or the call of the question. This will help you quickly isolate the facts that matter. Tip number 19, no blanks. Blank answers hurt as much as wrong ones. Tip number 20, 1 for 1. If you select more than one answer for a question, you get no points. 1 question, 1 answer. Tip number 21, choose the best possible answer. By the way, the best answer might not be perfect. Tip number 22, avoid absolutes. Answers suggesting a black and white world are usually red flags. Tip number 23, evade the unfamiliar. Test writers like to make up new Latin terms, rules, and exceptions. If you're reasonably competent about ethical rules, odds are that anything that sounds completely unfamiliar is nothing more than an evil trick. Tip number 24, if a question's tough, rule out the easy non-answers. If you can narrow it down to 2 possible right answers, just pick one and move on. Of course, you can come back to it later if you have time. But if you're too much of a perfectionist on tough questions, you can burn time and sabotage odds on the easier ones. Tip number 25, just because an answer seems obvious does not mean it's wrong. Sometimes a question can mess with your mind by being a little too easy. Tip number 26, remember, right answers don't contradict the facts. Tip number 27, stay centered. If you feel like the floor is falling out, take a deep breath and try to clear your mind before pressing on. Tip number 28, use common sense. Part of common sense is to not overthink it. Tip number 29, the early bird gets the worm. Register early, arrive early. Early means less stress, and less stress normally means better performance. Tip number 30, take the MPRE before your 3L year. That way, if you don't pass the first time, you'll still have ample time to retake the MPRE without adding stress to your bar prep. Tip number 31, Find out what you must bring and what you can and cannot bring. The list may change, so stay up to date on the most recent rules. Tip number 32, pack your bag the night before. And finally, tip number 33, take care of yourself. Eat healthy, exercise, get enough sleep, you get the idea. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to check out our other tips and tricks. From us here at Crescendo, happy criming.